Once upon a time, in the hustle and bustle of Manhattan, there lived a man named Daniel. At 30, he was the epitome of the modern corporate world. Sharply dressed, career-driven, but internally, a ticking time bomb of stress and pent-up emotions. Life had thrown him curves, and he was feeling increasingly lost, devoid of any motivation. His colleague, Jonathan, was a stark contrast. He was the same age, same profession, but carried an aura of tranquility. Even in the most stressful situations, he never seemed to lose control, a stark contrast to the rest of the world swirling in chaos. Intrigued, Daniel was curious to know the secret behind Jonathan's calm demeanor. One day, gathering his courage, he approached Jonathan. With a smile, Jonathan said, "Emotional control, my friend, is a lesson best learned from the Stoics of ancient Greece and Rome." The first lesson came from a homeless man named Max, who Jonathan introduced to Daniel. Max, despite having nothing, seemed happier than most men with fortunes. He lived by the Stoic belief of understanding what is within our control. Max had no control over the fact he was homeless, but he could control how he reacted to it. Instead of succumbing to self-pity, he chose to remain positive, focusing on improving his situation. He shared stories, made people laugh, and did odd jobs with an infectious enthusiasm that even the toughest hearts found hard to resist. Daniel started to realize that he too had the power to choose his response to his circumstances. The second lesson was embodied by a Stoic war veteran named Jack, who Jonathan introduced next. Jack had seen the horrors of war, losing friends, and experiencing the very precipice of human suffering. But he stood strong, a living example of the Stoic principle: endurance is nobility. Jack taught Daniel that everyone faces trials, but it's enduring these trials that builds character. Daniel's trials weren't on the battlefield, but in the boardroom. Jack's stories made him realize that he could bear his burdens without being emotionally overwhelmed. The third lesson came from an elderly woman named Mary, who, despite losing her husband and son, had not lost her will to live and love. Her lesson was about rejection of excessive emotion. She had every right to be consumed by grief, but chose to remain emotionally balanced. She explained to Daniel, "Excessive emotion is a storm that clouds judgment and decision-making." She taught him that experiencing emotion was natural, but one must not allow it to consume them. This lesson resonated deeply with Daniel, who was often driven by anxiety and stress. The final lesson was a stark reminder of mortality and the fleeting nature of life, delivered by a terminally ill man named Sam. Sam, despite knowing his days were numbered, chose to live each day with positivity and passion. His courage in facing mortality made Daniel realize that life is too short to be spent in fear and apprehension. It forced Daniel to question if his fears and insecurities were worth the stress and emotional upheaval they caused. Each of these individuals was a stark example of Stoic principles in action, demonstrating to Daniel the power of emotional control. He started implementing these lessons into his own life, realizing that he had control over his reactions, that endurance was a virtue, that rejection of excessive emotion was necessary for clarity, and that understanding the fleeting nature of life could put his problems into perspective. Daniel's journey of understanding and implementing Stoic philosophy wasn't an overnight change. It took weeks and months of self-reflection and practice. There were moments of doubt and failure, but he remembered Jack's words, "Endurance is nobility." Gradually, his stress reduced. He began to feel less lost, and a renewed sense of purpose started to take root within him. His peers started noticing the change, a tranquility that echoed Jonathan's. In the end, Daniel found the balance he had been seeking. Not only did he become better at his job, but he became a better person. He learned that emotional control was not about suppression, but about understanding, accepting, and then consciously directing one's emotions in a healthier manner. 4 things. Every man must know about emotional control, a groundbreaking Stoic story. This tale became the mantra that not only changed Daniel's life, but also held the potential to transform the lives of others who felt as lost as Daniel once did. He realized that he wasn't alone in his feelings, and most importantly, he wasn't powerless to change them. In the grand skyscrapers of Manhattan, in the crowded trains, on the bustling streets, among millions of people, Daniel found his peace, found himself, all through the age-old wisdom of Stoic philosophy. And the beauty of this wisdom? It's available to us all, ready to be understood, learned, and practiced, enabling each of us to master emotional control and ultimately navigate the stormy seas of life. Have you ever felt lost, like a boat adrift in a tumultuous sea, not knowing which way to steer? You are not alone. From this narrative, we can glean several invaluable lessons that we can apply to our own lives. The first lesson, exemplified by Max, is understanding what is within our control. Many of us are trapped by situations we can't change, feeling hopeless. But the key lies in recognizing what we can control, our reactions. You can choose to react positively, even in adverse situations, thereby empowering yourself. Our second lesson, as shown through Jack, is endurance is nobility. It's easy to be swept up in the wave of trials and tribulations. Remember, every challenge is a chance to build your character. Embrace these trials and persevere through them. We need to develop resilience to overcome obstacles, which is ultimately a testament to our character. The third lesson from Mary is rejection of excessive emotion. Excessive emotion can cloud our judgment and decision-making abilities. Allow yourself to feel, but don't let your emotions consume you. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions, but acknowledging them and then guiding them in a healthier direction. Finally, the last lesson from Sam, mortality and the fleeting nature of life, is a reminder that life is too short to be spent in constant fear and worry. Acknowledge the transient nature of life. Use it to gain perspective and to differentiate between what is truly important and what is not. To apply these lessons, start by observing your reactions. Are they driven by factors you can't control? If so, challenge yourself to change that reaction. Embrace challenges as opportunities for growth, not as hurdles. When you're overwhelmed by emotions, pause and take a step back. Ask yourself, is this emotion serving me? If it's not, allow it to pass without letting it control you. And always remember, life is fleeting, so focus on what truly matters and let go of unnecessary worries. In the end, we are all the captains of our ship, with the power to steer our lives towards tranquility and contentment. It's a journey, and these lessons are our compass, guiding us through the stormy seas towards calmer waters. If you enjoyed today's video and found these insights useful, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot to us, and it's what allows us to keep bringing you content like this. Remember, no matter how lost or disoriented you feel, there's always a way to find your path and navigate towards a better tomorrow. Stay tuned for more content that aims to inspire, uplift, and guide you on your journey. Thank you for watching, and remember, you have the power to shape your life.